Yeah. What's good, buddy? Quentin Presley. You already know who I am. You already know what we're here for. SpongeBob conspiracy theory, the Neptune theory by 𝑣𝑗𝐿. A lot of you guys want to be looking at this. We'll be looking at it today. Hopefully, guys enjoy it. Let's jump into it. You already know what we're here for.
Continuity with King Neptune is a bit of a mess. There are two different King Neptunes. There's a King Poseidon. There's 3 different royal palaces. 2 of them are called the City of Atlantis, but there's also a third unrelated City of Atlantis. It's confusing to say the least.
Yeah,
but
a lot going on.
There is actually a way to explain how all of this is intentional.
Unless a new one, I have not seen this one. I have not seen Poseidon at all.
And connects together. This is a story of power, deception, and betrayal. This is the Neptune theory.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
That was probably nothing.
Late night snack. Could go back there.
There's no tension. The pacing is slow. It fundamentally fails as a film. Alex, go back to making SpongeBob theory videos. No one wants to see your awful horror films. I've been
God dang!
Critic, and remember to stay cynical.
They hit him with, I don't care what you post, but if it ain't the SpongeBob theory, keep that to yourself. Gee.
See you later.
And we're back! What's up? I'm your host Alex, the SpongeBob guy, back with another SpongeBob conspiracy. I've said it before, but the overwhelming support for these videos is insane. So, I'd be stupid not to make more. I mean, everyone loves them, right?
Hello, fellow truth seekers. It's Conspiracy Carl here. Welcome back to The Awakening. I have been awakened myself to the immense lies of this person right here. This liar, Alex Bale.
Well, almost everyone. So I showed a bit of this conspiracy guy's reaction in my last video, and apparently he didn't like that, so now he's claiming that I'm part of some giant Illuminati conspiracy.
Somebody looks like they're a puppet for the Illuminati. Yes, you sir, have been inserting secret messages into your videos.
What? Huh? Let's go. Yes, sir.
King Neptune is the ruler of the 7 seas and the Roman god of the ocean. If you watch my evolution theory, you know there's also a good chance he's the reason why fish in Bikini Bottom are so evolved and able to talk. He lives in the city of Atlantis with his wife Queen Amphitrite and his son Triton. But in the first SpongeBob movie, he's replaced by a completely different King Neptune who has a completely different daughter named Mindy. These guys don't look or sound at all the same, so how can they both...
Yeah, I always thought that even when I was a kid, when I saw that, I was like, where's King Neptune at? Like, why does he look like this? Like, why is he, you know what I'm saying? Why he look funny? I don't know.
Both exist in this universe. Well, there's already an interesting theory out there about this. It's widely believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future after the events of the show. So widely believed that I got hundreds of comments about it in my
That's what I thought too.
Yep, I know guys, I heard what you said. The creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, said he wanted to end the series with the movie. And it being canonically at the end of the SpongeBob timeline would explain why we never see the Krusty Krab 2 or any of the other characters from the movie in the later SpongeBob episodes.
Right.
And some people believe that the reason why movie Neptune is so different is because he's actually Neptune's son, Triton, all grown up. And that's a pretty cool theory, but I don't buy it. Other than
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about
nothing
that.
like movie Neptune, I've never actually believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future. Despite there being many people who commented about it on my Mrs. Puff theory as if it was a proven fact, there's never actually been any official confirmation.
Yeah, I always thought that the TV show was first and then the movie. But I guess
of it. Steven Hillenburg only said that he wanted to stop making SpongeBob after the movie. He never said anything about where the movie actually takes place in the timeline of the show. And we do actually briefly see Neptune's daughter Mindy show up later in the show in SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout.
So it can't be.
There's no way she'd be there unless the show took place.
Yeah, so
it
could be in the future then.
I think what's actually going on here with Neptune is something much more interesting, and it ties directly in with the television theory. If you haven't seen that video, it basically proves that the entire show SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a nature documentary being filmed by scuba divers, and many of the elements we see throughout the series are secretly set up by the showrunners to make sure that the show is more entertaining and profitable. And this applies to the SpongeBob movie as well. There's promotional art and even a commercial that acknowledges the fact that it's just a movie being filmed.
Hello? SpongeBob, What kind of jellyfish is that?
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. Can you tell us about your latest adventure?
Well, this one adventure we had was a real Lulu.
You mean when we went after Neptune's crown? It seemed bigger than our usual adventures.
Yes, and with fewer interruptions.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
With fewer interruptions.
Movie?
Okay.
What's that?
I don't know.
I think the real reason why Neptune looks so different in the movie is because the filmmakers couldn't get the real King Neptune, the literal god of the sea, to show up for a movie. So they hired an actor to pretend to be the king. And there is actually a ton of evidence in the show to support this. King Neptune is supposed to live in the great city of Atlantis, but in the movie he just lives in some random sandcastle, almost like they just built a discount version for the movie. But the real evidence comes from season 10, episode 18, Lost and Found, where SpongeBob goes beneath the Krusty Krab to look for something in the Lost and Found. As he searches through the surprisingly massive collection of items, on one of the shelves we see something mind-blowing. The crown worn by King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie.
And the guitar there too. What's the name? I think that's that bag of wind thing, whatever that was called. I think that's there too. So hold on. So when it was proved that it was a nature documentary, it had, if I remember right, it had Mr. Krab, like inside of the Krusty Krab, it had all kind of cameras and stuff. And that's when the fish came in. They was recording them with the boom arm. So this must be like the storage area. Right?
The entire plot of the movie hinges on the fact that Neptune thinks Mr. Krabs stole his crown. Why would Mr. Krabs have this now?
Facts.
Because this
That wouldn't make
isn't
sense.
just the Krusty Krabs Lost and Found. It's also where they store the props used by the SpongeBob SquarePants filmmakers to create the SpongeBob movie. If you remember from my television theory, Mr. Krabs is secretly working for the showrunners to spy on all the main characters. And his secret surveillance room was hidden beneath the
4K.
Krusty Krab, just like this Lost and Found. So it makes perfect sense for the showrunners to hide their props down here. And if you still don't believe me, we also see SpongeBob's guitar, the Goofy Goober peanut hats, and the magical bag of wind. All items from the movie that would make no sense being down here unless this was the showrunner's prop storage and the movie King Neptune was just an actor. Well, that's one Neptune down. Now for the real mystery.
But why wouldn't the real Neptune want to be in a movie though? How could they not get him? Like I figure if there was a movie, I figure he'd want to be in there. I don't know.
King Poseidon.
King Poseidon look ugly, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
In the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, the King of the Sea is yet again replaced by a new character, King Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean. He actually does live in the city of Atlantis, except instead of the ancient royal architecture, it's a giant casino designed to make money. It'd be easy to say that these are just two separate kings that rule different areas of the sea, but they both claim to be the ruler of the 7 seas. So how can two different characters both be the king of the same 7 seas? The answer to that question actually has to do with a place called Camp Coral.
Haven't seen this either.
Throughout the third SpongeBob movie, we keep cutting back to flashbacks of a younger SpongeBob and all the other characters when they all went to summer camp together. This was all to set up a spin-off show called Camp Coral that followed these younger characters. Now, at first, I just wrote the show off as SpongeBob following the trend of making all their characters younger to appeal to a younger demographic. It's been done before, and it's never very good. They also completely contradict the continuity of the main show by having characters like Sandy and SpongeBob meet as kids when we know they actually met as adults in the main show. Look, I am having a hard enough time figuring out this show's continuity on its own. I do not need another show full of contradictions to make it even harder. But the creators actually did something very clever to make the continuity work. The 7th episode of Camp Coral ends with one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen from the show. So in this episode, SpongeBob actually discovers the Krabby Patty secret formula way before it was supposed to be created by Mr. Krabs. But at the end of the episode, it gets accidentally destroyed by Sandy, and then we get this mind-blowing scene.
This is Little Cheeks calling Big Cheeks. Come in, Big Cheeks. Over. Affirmative, Little Cheeks. This is Big Cheeks receiving you from the future. How are things going in the past? Your plan worked perfectly. The formula burned out before Mr. Plankton could nab it. Now it can be safely rediscovered in the future.
So it wasn't an accident.
Camp Coral was the right thing to do. Over and out. Bye, future me. Ha. Mission accomplished, timeline preserved. Now everything can continue just the way it's always been.
So Sandy used time travel to send her past self to Camp Coral so that she could make sure the Krabby Patty formula didn't get discovered before it was supposed to. They actually...
Yeah, because they had to tie that in because it was an episode, I forgot what it was. Was it Truth or Square when Plankton and Mr. Crab was talking about how they made the Krabby Patty? So there had to be some type of way that they tied that in. Okay.
Figured out a way to make this messed up continuity make sense. Don't you dare tell me this show doesn't care about its continuity. Can I also just say that this scene lines up perfectly with my television theory? A major part of that theory is that Sandy is actually a spy working for the showrunners and is secretly making sure everything stays on track. And then what do we see a month after I post my theory? Sandy secretly manipulating everyone to keep the show on track. Just gonna give myself a...
Nah, Nickelodeon, they've been watching this theory and be like, all right, let's add that in there. Nah. Yeah, they peeped.
Pat on the back there. But enough gloating. What does any of this have to do with King Poseidon? Well, this proves that Camp Coral and the movie that sets it up are in an alternate timeline. The events that have taken place in the show are not the same events in this movie. The continuity errors like Sandy and SpongeBob meeting, or Poseidon being the king of the sea instead of Neptune, can be explained by this shift in the timeline. So there you go. King Poseidon and King Neptune are from completely separate timelines. That's why we never see any reference to King Poseidon in the show. And that is the Neptune
That makes
theory.
sense.
Huh. I mean, that wasn't so hard, I guess.
Nah, this is more. Nah. I would say
stirred up
this
quite a gale tonight. You must be mad about something.
That's silly. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Why can't anything ever be easy?
Hold on, so...
This is the clip that really made me decide to make
So
this theory.
Poseidon's the real one.
The beginning of Season 5, Episode 19, Spongehenge, shows two fish arguing over whether Neptune or Poseidon is the real ruler of the sea. It's like the creators are directly telling us that both of these characters somehow exist in the same timeline, and it's our job to figure out how the puzzle pieces fit together. So, let's take a look. Despite both of these characters having similar appearances and personalities, there is one very important difference between them. Poseidon doesn't have power. We've seen many times that King Neptune has magical abilities that he can use at any time, even without his trident.
Yeah,
but
Neptune
in the
legit.
entire third SpongeBob movie, we never see Poseidon use any powers or magical abilities, except for lighting up his trident, but all he has to do for that is just flip a switch. And we know from the episode Trident Trouble that you don't even need to be a god to use the trident. And at the end of the third movie, we find out Poseidon is actually in terrible shape. If you remember at the end of the episode Neptune's Spatula, Neptune briefly turned SpongeBob into a god, and we can see that having god powers gives you a perfect body. So why is Poseidon in such terrible shape?
He's a fraud. It sounds like to me he's a fraud. He's a fake. He's a phony. He don't got no powers other than the trident. Now my man Neptune, he was about it. He had all the powers, bro. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen Sponge out of water, but from what I'm hearing and seeing, he might be a fake.
Because he doesn't actually have powers. Only Neptune does.
Okay.
Even Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, has to use technology to zap someone, unlike Neptune, who only has to use his finger in
So
the
he the
exact
only
same
one then?
episode. He is clearly the only one with powers, but why? To answer this question, we first have to understand the origins of King Neptune. Now, throughout the show, there is very little information on Neptune's past. I read the Wikipedia, I looked through the comic books, the video games, but I just couldn't find anything that would help me. But then I remembered there are SpongeBob shorts, which are like mini episodes that only air once, usually to promote something. So I started looking to see if there were any that could help us, and lo and behold, there is a SpongeBob short called The Story of King Neptune. Yeah, I guess that could be helpful. This short is about SpongeBob telling Patrick the origins of King Neptune, but it's not entirely clear whether it's true.
The story of King Neptune. When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river. As he floated along, a radioactive meteor fell to Earth. An alien appeared and anointed the infant with super Neptune fluid.
Is that really the origin of King Neptune?
Yeah, this might be able to tie this in and have this actually be accurate. But I don't know, bro. It sounds weird for one. Two, this is coming from SpongeBob Mouse. I don't know.
Sure.
So King Neptune was abandoned as a baby and then given his powers by aliens. But SpongeBob is holding an upside-down comic book, so it feels a lot like something he just made up. And SpongeBob is not the most reliable narrator.
Yeah.
Unless there's something in the story that we can definitively prove, I don't think we can use it for a theory. Like, do you really expect me to believe that Neptune got his powers from aliens? I mean, we've never even seen aliens in the show before. Except, we have. And they just so happen to also live in a city called Atlantis. Season 5, Episode 12, Atlantis SquarePantis, we see another completely different Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, a city that's home to a race of aliens. The Atlantean aliens
so they gave
billions
Neptune
of light years
powers
to come to this planet and build their city.
For reasons unknown, this great city disappeared one day, but no ruins were ever found. All the inventions you take for granted were given to us by the Atlanteans.
Magic conch.
They were a peaceful race of aliens who shared their technology, but then mysteriously disappeared for some reason. And take a guess what we find when we look inside of that city. A massive sculpture of King Neptune.
Oh, okay, so the aliens were the people from Atlantis. I don't know if he got squirted on as a baby. I don't know about that. But he definitely got the powers from him. Okay, so it was true then.
That story about aliens giving Neptune his powers doesn't sound so far-fetched now, does it? And that's not all we find.
Neptune's Ascension, the only surviving painting from the great lost city of Atlantis.
A painting created by the Atlanteans called Neptune's Ascension, aka Neptune ascending to his god status by being given powers by the Atlantean aliens. The story is definitely referencing this. There are too many connections for this to be a coincidence. So even though it's being told by SpongeBob and details like the aliens' appearance are wrong, the story itself is probably based on truth. And there's also a lot of evidence to support the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby. In Clash of Triton, Neptune is watching a soap opera in his bedroom and gets upset when his wife turns it off.
Oh, Neptune, surely this isn't the behavior befitting a king, doing nothing but watching daytime television.
Wait! Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents.
In the soap opera, Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents. Maybe the real reason why Neptune's so invested in the soap opera is because he's never met his biological parents either. There's even tissues on the table next to him as if he's been crying. And the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby works perfectly with the mythology in the show. Neptune is the Roman god of the sea, but he is the only reference to Roman mythology in the show. Everything else we see is from Greek mythology. In the episode Trident Trouble, we see a Greek chorus.
Behold, we are the Greek chorus. We narrate this epic tale.
Neptune once mentioned Zeus, the Greek god of thunder.
So I say, look, Zeus, either you come up with more money, or Neptune walks.
He also mentions Apollo, the Greek god of the sun.
Now behold.
No mention of Roman mythology though.
Of Atlantis, a prize worthy of Apollo.
Even in the city of Atlantis where Neptune lives, there's a building named the Poseidon, clearly named after Poseidon. So Neptune is clearly the outsider here, which is why he was abandoned as a baby. But if the sea is actually ruled by Greek mythology, then Poseidon should be the true heir to the throne. Why is Neptune the king in the show?
Because he took it up. Fire theory. Fire. So I'm gonna assume this is Poseidon's world here. Neptune, he got blessed with the powers from the Atlanteans. That's why the Roman mythology. Everything in the universe, everything that was mentioned from SpongeBob was Greek mythology. This is supposed to be Poseidon's, but he got the powers because because Poseidon didn't have the powers, but Neptune did. He took over. Yo, if that's the case, that's fire. That's fire.
Because after Neptune was given his god powers by aliens, he returned to Atlantis and stole the throne from Poseidon. This would explain why there's so much confusion over who the real king is.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight.
That's messed up though. That's
ruler of the undersea.
Legally, Poseidon should be the king, but Neptune took it by force.
He don't got no powers.
Not all he took from Poseidon. Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, is the goddess of the sea. The Greek goddess of the sea.
And took his wife?
The wife of Poseidon.
You gotta get that back in blood. Oh, nah. So not only did he took the kingdom and took your hoe. God. And ain't nothing you can really do about it. He don't even got no powers, bruh. What are you gonna do? Turn the on switch on this trident? That's tough. You had to take that L. Well, you did take the L, Poseidon.
God damn, Neptune stole his wife and his throne.
That's tough.
Is cold. And eventually, everyone did recognize Neptune as the rightful king.
And then everybody just went with it.
Adamant about Poseidon being the king completely changes her mind one season later in Clash of Triton.
Oh, wait a minute, King Neptune is coming here? Oh, I'm a huge fan of the royal family. I just love everything they do.
And that is the real story of King Neptune. The reason why Poseidon is king in the third movie is probably because in that timeline, Neptune was never given his god powers, so he never stole the throne from Poseidon. Although, seeing as how Poseidon turned Atlantis into a big casino cash grab city, maybe it's a good thing Neptune took over.
The lost city of Atlantic City.
And that is the Neptune theory. That was a tough one, but we are finally done.
Neptune was better off taking it.
Wait,
not in it.
Why is Poseidon City called the Lost City of Atlantic City?
The Lost City of Atlantic City.
I mean, the
There's
Atlantic
people
City
there.
Park makes sense. That's a reference to the real-life Atlantic City, but why is it called the Lost City? There is nothing lost about this city. It seems like everyone's easily able to find it. The only other reference to a lost city of Atlantis is the one with the aliens that gave Neptune his powers. Nope, I don't care. I'm done with this theory. I don't need to answer every single little question. I am 100%
don't do that.
Done.
I was about to say, nah, ain't no way, boy.
Fine, okay? One more quick part just to tie up all the loose ends, and then I am done. Alright, here we go. So we know before the Atlantean aliens mysteriously disappeared, they shared their technology with the creatures of the sea. I think the self-proclaimed gods of the sea got their technology, like tridents and their other weapons, from the Atlantean aliens. In fact, the Atlantean guards even use golden tridents as their weapons. That's why the gods named their city Atlantis, to pay tribute to the Atlanteans that gave them their technology. But all of that changed when Poseidon became king of the sea. He betrayed the Atlanteans and used their own weapons against them to conquer their home and turn it into a casino city. That's why Poseidon City is called the Lost City.
They lost the city.
It's referencing the Atlantean city that was conquered by Poseidon. And the reason why the Atlanteans gave god powers to some random abandoned baby in the main timeline was so that Neptune could take the throne from Poseidon and prevent him from conquering the alien city. And the reason why the Atlantean city mysteriously disappeared was because they hid it so no one could ever try and conquer them again. And that is the Neptune theory. I am done.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's fine.
Okay. That's another one done. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Alex. We've got more on the way. I'll see you next time. Hey, listen, that theory was awesome. You know, I don't know how you keep coming up with these, but I mean, they're great.
Theory number 6?
And listen, you were totally right. You know, the people want SpongeBob theories, so who am I to ignore them? So, thank you. Hello? Got the meat for you.
Pause.
All right, listen. If we're gonna work on this, then we need to work on our communication skills because this creepy quiet act is getting old.
The void is giving me information. Uh-oh. Oh. I thought it was about to show. God. Yes, sir. Number 6 on the way. That is symbiote? Like what? A Venom?
Why are you on my ceiling?
My boy, he
have done well. But if we are to continue our work, I will require something more.
Blood? Head? The SpongeBob guy. Alright, that's it for the video. That's the SpongeBob conspiracy number 5, the Neptune theory. Fire. This makes a lot of sense. Even, like I say, even as a kid, when I watched the SpongeBob movie, I always wondered like why they didn't use the same Neptune. But I just figured, you know, they knew what they was doing. So, plus I was a little kid, I ain't thinking to it. So, I guess, sure. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense though. So the whole time it was supposed to be not Neptune. It's supposed to be Poseidon's world. Okay, Poseidon's domain. Neptune came along, took over Poseidon's kingdom, took over, the wealth, took over the people, took over his wife. Like, golly. And I feel like that wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have done that if Poseidon didn't, go over the Atlanteans. So if it wasn't for that, he probably could have still been king. Maybe would have had some magical powers too, but I don't know. This was a great show. This was a great series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do, you already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like what you see, sub to me. If not, you're racist. Don't make the rules up. And I'm out.